All that kept Granddad moving was a powerful drive to push on and continue the bitter struggle against wave after murky wave of obdurate air. In his dazed state, he heard a loud clamor rushing towards him like a tidal wave. When he raised his head, he spotted a long, fiery dragon wriggling its way along the top of the dike. His eyes froze as the image slipped in and out of focus. When it was blurred, he couldn't see the dragon's fangs and its claws as it rode the clouds and sailed through the mist, the vigorous motions making its golden scales jangle. Wind howled, clouds hissed, lightning flashed, thunder rumbled. The sounds merged to form a masculine wind that swept across a huddled, feminine world. When it was clear he could see, it was 99 torches hoisted above the heads of hundreds of people hastening towards him. The dancing flames lit up the sorghum on both banks of the river. Granddad lifted father down off his back and shook him hard. "Dogwan," he shouted in his ear. "Dogwan, wake up, wake up. The villagers are coming for us. They're coming." Father heard the hoarseness in Granddad's voice and saw two remarkable tears leap out of his eyes. Granddad was only 24 when he murdered Shan Tingshu and his son. Even though by then he and Grandma had already done the phoenix dance in the sorghum field, and even though in the solemn curse of suffering and joy he had conceived my father, whose life was a mixture of achievements and sin, in the final analysis he gained distinction among his generation of citizens of Northeast Gaomi Township. He had nonetheless been legally married into the Shang family. So she and Granddad were adulterers. Their relationship marked by spontaneity, chance, and uncertainty. And since father wasn't born while they were together, accuracy demands that I refer to Granddad as Yu Jan Ao in writing about this period. When in agony and desperation, Grandma told Yu Jan Ao that her legal husband, Shan Bian Lang, was a leper. He decapitated 2 sorghum plants with his short sword, urging her not to worry. He told her to return 3 days hence. She was too overwhelmed by the tide of passionate love to concern herself with the implications of his comment. But murderous thoughts had already entered his mind. He watched her thread her way out of the sorghum field, and through the spaces between stalks, saw her summon her shrewd little donkey and nudge great-granddad with her foot, walking the mud-caked heap from his drunken stupor. He heard great-granddad, whose tongue had grown thick in his mouth, say, "Daughter, what took you so long to take a piss?" "Your father-in-law going to give me a big black mule." Ignoring his mumbling, she swung her leg over the donkey's back and turned her face, brushing by the winds of spring, towards the sorghum field south of the road. She knew that the young sedan-bearer was watching her. Struggling to wrench free of this unknown passion, she had a dim vision of a new and unfamiliar broad road stretching out ahead of her, covered with sorghum seeds as red as rubies, the ditches on either side filled with crystal-clear sorghum wine. As she moved down the road, her imagination colored the genuine article until she could not distinguish between reality and illusion. Eugen now followed her with his eyes until she rounded a bend. Feeling suddenly weary, he pushed his way through the sorghum and returned to the sacred altar, where he collapsed like a toppled wall and fell into a sound sleep. Later, as the red sun was disappearing in the west, his eyes snapped open, and the first things he saw were sorghum leaves, stems, and ears of grain that formed a thick blanket of purplish red above him. He draped his rain cape over his shoulders and walked out of the field as a rapid breeze on the road caused the sorghum to rustle noisily. He wrapped the cape tightly around him to ward off the chill, and as his hand brushed against his belly, he realized how hungry he was. He dimly recalled the 3 shacks at the head of the village where he carried the woman in the sedan chair 3 days ago, and the tattered tavern flag snapping and fluttering in the raging winds of the rainstorm. So hungry he could neither sit still nor stand straight, he strode towards the tavern. Since he had been hiring out of the Northeast Galmi Township Wedding and Funeral Service Company for less than 2 years, the people around here wouldn't recognize him. He'd get something to eat and drink, and find a way to do what he'd come to do, to slip into the sorghum fields like a fish in the ocean and swim far away. At this point in his ruminations, he headed west, where bilious red clouds turned the setting sun into a blooming peony with a luminous, fearfully bright golden border. After walking west for a while, he turned north, heading straight for the village where Grandma's nominal husband lived. The fields were still and deserted. During those years, any farmer who had food at home left his field before nightfall, turning the sorghum fields into a haven for bandits. Village chimneys were smoking by the time he arrived, and a handsome young man was walking down the street with 2 crocks of fresh well water over his shoulder, the shifting water splashing over the sides. Eugen darted into the doorway beneath the tattered tavern flag. No inner wall separated the shacks, and a bar made of bowed bricks divided the room in 2, the inner half of which was furnished with a black kang, a stove, and a large vat. 2 rickety tables with sacred tops and a few scattered narrow benches constituted the furnishing in the outer half of the room. A glazed wine crock rested on the bar, its ladle hanging from the rim. A fat old man was sprawled on the kang. Yurinao recognized him as the Korean dog butcher they called Gook. He had seen Gook once at the market in Ma Hamlet. The man could slaughter a dog in less than a minute, and the hundreds of dogs that lived in Ma Hamlet growled viciously when they saw him, their fur standing straight up, though they kept their distance. "Barkeep, a bowl of wine," Eugen now called out as he sat on one of the benches. The fat old man didn't stir, his rolling eyes the only movement on the can. "Barkeep!" Eugen now shouted. The fat man pulled back the white dog pelt covering him and climbed down off the can. Eugen now noticed 3 more pelts hanging off the wall, 1 green, 1 blue, and 1 spotted. The fat old man took a dark red bowl out of an opening in the bar and ladled wine into it. "What do you have to go with the wine?" Eugen now asked. "Dog head," the fat old man snarled. "I want dog meat. Dog head's all I've got." "Okay, then." The old man removed the lid from the pot in which a whole dog was cooking. "Forget the head," Eugen demanded. "I want some of that meat." Ignoring him, the old man picked up his cleaver and hacked at the dog's neck, splattering and scalding soup about. Once he'd severed the head, he stuck a metal skewer into it and held it over the bar. "I said I want dog meat," Eugen snapped, his ire rising. The old man threw the dog head down on the bar and said angrily, "That's what I've got. Take it or leave it." "Who do you think you're talking to?" "Just sit there like a good little boy," the old man warned. "What makes you think you can eat dog meat? I'm saving that for Spotted Neck." Spotted Neck was a famous bandit chief in northeast Galmi Township. Just hearing the name was enough to intimidate Eugen, for Spotted Neck was reputed to be a crack shot. His trademark of firing 3 shots in a circular motion had earned him the nickname Three-Node Phoenix. People who knew guns could tell just by listening that Spotted Neck was nearby. Reluctantly, Eugen held his tongue and, with a bowl of wine in one hand, reached out and picked up the dog head, then took a spiteful bite out of the animal's snout. It was delicious, and he was ravenously hungry. So he dug in, eating quickly until the head and the wine were gone. With a final gaze at the bony skull, he stood up and belched. $1 silver, the old man said. I've only got 7 coppers, Eugene said, tossing the coins down on the table. I said $1 silver. And I said, I've only got 7 coppers. Do you really expect to eat without paying, boy? I've got 7 copper coins and that's it. Eugene stood up to leave. The fat old man ran around the bar and grabbed him. As they were struggling, a tall, beefy man walked into the bar. Hey, Gook, how come you haven't lit your lantern? This guy thinks he can eat without paying. Cut out his tongue, the man said darkly, and light the lantern. The fat old man let go of Eugene and walked behind the bar, where he stoked the fire and lit a bean oil lamp. The glimmering light illuminated the stranger's dark face. Eugene noticed that he was dressed in black satin from head to toe, a jacket with a row of cloth buttons down the front, a pair of wide-legged trousers tied at the ankles with black cotton straps, and black double-buckled cloth shoes. His long, thick neck had a white spot on it the size of a fist. This, Eugene thought to himself, must be Spotted Neck. Spotted Neck sized up Eugene then stuck out his left hand and rested 3 fingers on his forehead. Eugene looked at him curiously. Spotted Neck shook his head disapprovingly. Not a bandit? I'm a sedan bearer for the service company. So you make your living with a pole, Spotted Neck said derisively. Interested in eating fish cakes with me? No, Eugene replied. Then get the hell out of here. You're still young, so I'll let you keep your tongue for kissing women. Go on and watch what you say. Eugene backed out of the tavern, not sure whether he was angry or scared. He had grudging respect for the way Spotted Neck carried himself, but not to the exclusion of loathing. Born into poverty, Eugene had lost his father when he was just a boy. So he and his mother had eked out a living by tending 3 less than half an acre of miserable land. His uncle, Big Tooth Hugh, who dealt in mules and horses, had occasionally helped mother and son financially, but not all that often. Then, when he was 13, his mother began an affair with the abbot at Tianqi Monastery. The well-to-do monk often brought rice and noodles over, and every time he came, Yujanal's mother sent the boy outside. Flames of anger raged inside him as sounds of revelry emerged from behind the closed door, and he could barely keep from torching the house. By the time he was 16, his mother was seeing the monk so frequently that the village was buzzing. A friend of his, Little Cheng the blacksmith, made him a short sword, with which he murdered the monk one drizzly spring night beside Pear Blossom Creek, named for the trees that lined it. They were in bloom on that wet night, blanketing the area with their delicate fragrance. Granddad fled the village after the incident, taking odd jobs and finally getting hooked on gambling. Over time, his skills improved until the copper coins that passed through his hands stained his fingers green. Then, when Nine Dreams Tao, whose favorite pastime was nabbing gamblers, became magistrate of Gaomi County, he was arrested for gambling in a graveyard, given 200 lashes with a shoe sole, forced to wear a pair of pants with 1 red flag and 1 black one, and sentenced to sweeping the streets of the county town for 2 months. When he'd completed his sentence, he wandered into Northeast Gaomi Township, where he hired out to the service company. Upon learning that, after the death of the monk, his mother had hanged herself from the doorframe, he went back one night to take a last look around. Sometime later, the incident with Grandma occurred. After walking outside, Eugene went into the sorghum field. He could see the dim lantern light in the tavern as he waited, following the progress of the new moon across the sky lit up with bright stars. Cool dew dripped from the sorghum stalks. Cold air rose from the ground beneath him. Late that night, he heard the tavern door creak open. flooding the night with lantern light. A fat figure hopped into the halo of light, looking around, then went back inside. Eugene could tell it was a dog butcher. After the man had back inside, the bandit Spotted Neck darted out the door and was quickly swallowed up by shadows. The fat old man closed the door and blew out the lantern, leaving the tattered flag above his tavern to flutter in the starlight as though calling to lost spirits.